Hello and welcome. You're watching UTV Live at 6.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. These are the stories making the headlines.
Shock in a County Armagh village after a man is killed. That's 10 murders in Northern Ireland in just 10 weeks.
Following the Maguire's Bridge murders, relatives thank the community in Fermanagh for their support.
It was very much really, I think, an act of grace, a moment of looking outwards to other people and recognising the goodness that's in people.
Natalie McNally is remembered as her old school shines a light on violence against women and girls.
Also tonight at Ships Ahoy as Belfast gets set to celebrate its rich maritime history.
And a blustery weekend of weather ahead. It'll eventually turn wet, but I'll have all the details coming up later in the programme.
Ten people have been murdered in Northern Ireland in the space of just 10 weeks. The latest killing carried out in a village in County Armagh. Police say the victim, Christopher Burns, suffered head and facial injuries. A
39-year-old man is still being questioned this evening by detectives. Our crime and security correspondent Sharon O'Neill spent the day in Mountnorris.
Murder in Mountnorris, a village shaken to its core. The sight of forensics not something anyone expects to see here. As the investigation continues, now a name and face put to the victim, who was in his 40s. He was Chrissy Burns, his family now plunged into mourning. Mr Burns was found dead in a bungalow here in Cusher Green on Thursday, just before noon. Police say he suffered serious head and facial injuries. They spent the day and evening speaking to witnesses and gathering whatever evidence they could. Mourning and the scene remained sealed off as they continued to piece together exactly what happened.
Someone says, Chrissy Burns is lying, he's dead. Chrissy Burns has been murdered, that's all. And I think they were selling the house, the body, and I was selling the house then.
Pensioner Alfred Cully couldn't believe the news about his neighbour, who lived just yards from his own home.
Well, I had known him since he came down here. You know, how he's dead on. How he's a very nice bloke, you know. Couldn't believe it, he was gone. No. Sad, isn't it? He didn't deserve that. No, definitely didn't.
This is the 10th murder in Northern Ireland in just 10 weeks. The resource-stretched PSNI is already well short of experienced detectives. So much so, the Chief Constable was considering drafting in homicide officers from elsewhere to help with investigations. This is what he told a meeting of the policing board yesterday.
I considered seeking national mutual assistance for our homicide teams. I think that would be unprecedented. Eventually, people are going to listen to the resourcing challenges of this organisation.
Back at Mountnorris, talk turns to the rise in murders and the human cost.
I really feel that the friends and neighbours in the community will wrap their arms around the family of the deceased. It speaks to a sad trend that we've observed over the last number of months where too many people have been murdered.
You see a high level of murder on streets in various parts of the world, but we don't really have to look too far now to see similar traits.
It's just telling you everything's changed. You know, you think you're living in a different country now, it's happening, you know. It's not normal, you know, tell you the truth.
Away from that debate, another family is preparing for a funeral. Sharon O'Neill, UTV Live.
Vanessa White and her two children, James and Sarah Rutledge, were shot dead in their family home in Maguire's Bridge in July. Now the Rutledge family have described their heartbreaking loss in a statement, thanking the community in Maguire's Bridge and Vanessa's native County Clare for their support.
In Rutledge, the children's father was the only suspect in the triple murder. Sarah O'Kane reports.
What happened here in Maguire's Bridge has hurt this community. 45-year-old Vanessa White and her 2 children, 14-year-old James Rutledge and Sarah Rutledge, who was 13, were all shot dead in a suspected triple murder-suicide. Ian Rutledge, the children's father and only suspect, passed away at the Royal Victoria Hospital. In a statement issued online, the Rutledge and Hoy families thanked those who have helped during what they described as a sad and difficult time. They said, "We wish to take this opportunity to express our heartfelt thanks and appreciation to everyone who supported and sympathised with us during our recent heartbreaking loss. A special word of thanks to the people of Fermanagh and those who were standing along the roadside as Vanessa, James and Sarah made their way across Fermanagh one last time. These acts of respect meant more than anyone could ever imagine."
The depth of gratitude in these families and their ability to compose such beautiful words of thanks, really heartfelt thanks. And like the statement of thanks wasn't just a list of acknowledgements. It was very much really, I think, an act of grace, a moment of looking outwards to other people and recognising the goodness that's in people. And it's important for people to hear that. I think that really lifts the community.
Police received a call from inside this house on the morning of the shooting. No one spoke and officers rushed to the scene. The family said, "Heartfelt thanks must go to all the members of the emergency services who attended to our family on the morning of the 23rd of July at Drummere Road in the most extreme circumstances. A special thanks to the staff of the South West Acute Hospital." The family also gave a special mention to Reverend Johnny McLaughlin.
Well, you know, I spoke to Reverend Johnny today, and Johnny is a hugely kind person. He's really walking with them day by day.
Vanessa, James and Sarah were all laid to rest together in Bearfield in County Clare, where the mother of 2 grew up. 2 families left broken by an unbearable loss. Sarah O'Kane, UTV Live.
Natalie McNally was 15 weeks pregnant when she was murdered in her Lurgan home shortly before Christmas in 2022. Now the 32-year-old has been remembered at her former school.
Natalie's family told a conference on violence against women and girls at Craigavon Integrated College about the lasting impact of her loss. Tori Watson reports.
A pupil who brought light into every room. Natalie McNally was murdered in December 2022, now remembered through this brightly coloured memorial.
One of my memories of her in the autumn, we were talking about
just in terms of the learning, she was very enthusiastic about, and the community itself. It's actually a very warm, inclusive community.
It gives us such comfort, and to know that it's a living thing that will be used and under in all the weathers, the seasons, under the oak tree. It's just fantastic, and it gives me great joy and happiness to seeing it in the bright colour.
Natalie was just 32 years old when she was killed in her Lurgan home. She was 15 weeks pregnant at the time. Today, her former school held a conference for pupils focused on tackling the issue of violence against women and girls.
Delighted to be here at the college this morning in tribute to Natalie somewhat, but also about how we can collectively work together to end violence against women and girls. It's about challenging attitudes, and particularly it's about talking to young people about healthy relationships.
Behind the statistics and behind the stories that we hear on the news, there is a person, there's a woman, there's a girl. The levels of violence are just totally unacceptable. We want no woman or girl to feel fear, to have to endure violence, and certainly not to lose their lives to it.
Students also heard from a panel of experts and took part in workshops run by Women's Aid.
It is a serious issue, and that it does need solved, and it doesn't just take words, it does take action as well.
Even the family speaking I thought was very insightful on how it actually really affects people.
It was kind of springboarded from the fact that we had a previous past pupil, Natalie McNally, who tragically lost her life through violence, and she was a very well known and very popular pupil in the school. And it's great to have her family here today. Very brave thing, very courageous thing for them to come and still speak and use Natalie's tragic incident as part of her legacy.
Natalie and her brothers had all previously attended this college.
We were so happy here. It was a fantastic school and still is. So to see them doing this workshop as well as with pupils from Lismore College, it's really heartening. It's give us, give us great hope to see that.
Natalie's legacy, shining light in the darkest of times.
It's really heartening to know that that wee bench will be there and all the students will be there at any time to sit on it and see it and remember Natalie. It really is an inspiration.
Noel McNally ending that report. The Communities Minister has branded Sinn Féin and SDLP councillors in Londonderry as hypocrites for opposing the participation of the Army in a jobs fair. It led to a row at a committee meeting at Derry City and Strabane District Council, where nationalists said the Army's attendance isn't welcome.
Gordon Lyons described their comments as a disgrace. His department is hosting the event. Our Northwest correspondent Gareth Wilkinson reports.
The Army always needs recruits, and for the first time the Ministry of Defence is listed as an employer due to take part in Derry's annual jobs fair next Tuesday, highlighting career opportunities in the Army as well as the Navy and RAF. That's led to an outbreak of hostilities in council.
You would not be supportive of the armed forces attending that particular event.
And if there's a protest, I'll be at it, as will, I believe, many, many other people throughout this city.
And for what I've heard today from colleagues, just tears the heart out of me to think of folk who have had the courage to wear the uniform of constitutional forces.
Bloody Sunday happened in Derry, where soldiers shot dead 13 civilians over 50 years ago. The Army's legacy remains controversial and divisive. Nationalist, Republican and Independent councillors all voiced opposition to military involvement in the careers event. It will be held in the Foyle Arena, which is a council-run facility.
From our perspective, and what was made very clear in the council chamber the other day, is that we would not encourage anybody, any young person from this council area, to take up a career in the British Forces.
The jobs fair is run by the Department for Communities, and officials had asked for the council's view.
We're taking a steer today that I can then build into a response back to DFC one way.
But the minister says he's disappointed with what he's heard from the nationalist-dominated chamber.
Well, what we see on display is the hypocrisy of Sinn Féin and the SDLP. They didn't want anything associated with the Army up in Londonderry, and I think that is a shame, and I think that is a disgrace.
DUP leader Gavin Robinson has also weighed into the row, describing opposition as a failure of political leadership.
While the Jobs Fair has become an annual event, this would be a new venue. And now it's understood that it's up to the Army to decide if they want to take part. Gareth Wilkinson, UTV Live, Derry.
There's good news and bad news on the energy front. Gas prices are set to fall for nearly 200,000 users. SSE Electricity gas customers will see their bills drop by nearly 8.5% at the start of October. Meanwhile, Power NI customers will see electricity bills rise by around £40 per year after a 4% hike. It's the second price rise by Power NI in the last year.
The Lady Chief Justice has given her annual address to mark the opening of the new legal year. Dame Siobhan Keegan was speaking at a gathering of senior judiciary at the Royal Courts of Justice in Belfast.
OK, it's time now to take a look at the headlines making tonight's ITV News at 6:30.
Here's Charlene White.
Coming up on the ITV Evening News, Rayner resigns from the government. It comes after Keir Starmer's ethics advisor found that she had breached the ministerial code for underpaying stamp duty. We'll have the latest on what this means for Labour ahead of its party conference. Portuguese police say 3 British nationals are among those killed in the Lisbon funicular crash. And tributes to the Duchess of Kent, the oldest member of the royal family, who's died at the age of 92. Join us for those stories and more from 6:30.
OK, back here, it's time for sport.
Here's Nathan.
The atmosphere is electric. John Mulholland Motors, sponsors of UTV Sport.
Good evening. Northern Ireland kicked off their World Cup qualifying campaign with a 3-1 win away to Luxembourg. Michael O'Neill's side men seal 3 points ahead of Sunday's giant clash with Germany.
We allowed them into the game and the equaliser was coming, to be honest. We sort of, we had to get into them a little bit at half-time.
Now it's about the next one, and I mean, it'll be a tough game, but we believe that we can take something because we've got lots of quality. And as I said before, I think we've got more levels to our game.
Focus now turns to that next game on Sunday, a clash with the mighty Germany, who there isn't a German backlash after their shock loss.
The Republic of Ireland begin their World Cup qualifying campaign tomorrow against Hungary at the Aviva Stadium in Dublin. The boys in green are hoping for a positive start before travelling to face Armenia on Tuesday in their double header. Group favourites Portugal are also in action tomorrow night. Ireland face a tough examination of their Rugby World Cup credentials on Sunday when they take on the defending champions New Zealand. It's a pool decider with either France or South Africa lying in wait in the quarter-finals. Ulster's Brittany Hogan starts against the Black Ferns.
I always say that whenever we played New Zealand last year, it was the hardest game I've ever played in my life. So, I know that, and we all are well aware that we're going to have to go to the hole, go to the well at the weekends. We have 30,000 people coming. Hopefully, a lot of them are going to be Irish. We're both really, really ready for this game and looking forward to hopefully getting out there and seeing how it goes.
Rory McIlroy and Shane Lowry were both in second round action at the Irish Open at the K Club today. The Masters champion finished 7 under with Lowry 4 under. This eagle on the 13th, one of the shots of the day. It currently leaves McIlroy 5 shots off the lead. Michael Conlon is aiming to move a step closer to another world title shot as he returns to the ring tonight against Jake Bateson in Dublin, with the WBC International Featherweight title on the line. He's been speaking to Daniel Duffy.
Back with a bang. Michael Conlon will take to the ring for the first time in Dublin as a professional tonight. He has fought across the globe, but the Fair City has always been a dream venue.
I've fought everywhere in the world, but never fought in the capital of Ireland, where I've basically forged most of my amateur career. So to be finally here, albeit in the twilight of my career, I'm excited. No matter when I fight, no matter where I fight, there's thousands to come. So the fact that we're getting to do it in Dublin and saving people a lot of costs on travel. If you go on my Instagram and look where's my biggest following, Dublin is my biggest following. So it's great, mate. It's good to give back, and I'm happy for to be in Dublin. It's somewhere I've always wanted to be, and now we're here.
Conlon made his comeback to the ring in March after over a year out and believes he will be back to his very best tonight at the 3 Arena.
The rust is off, man. That last one was... The training camp was hard because I felt like I forgot how to box, and this time the levels have just went up and up and up and up. So I'm in a good place. I'm feeling great. We're ready to go to war, and when you see that crowd singing, the hair stand up in your neck and you're like, okay, ready to go now, let's go.
Jack Bateson from Leeds is his opponent and has Irish roots, and he is hoping to spoil the party.
Got over 100 people coming from Leeds, so I'm lucky really. I'm grateful for the support, and they'll make the noise. Maybe not as much as the thousands over here in Ireland, but they'll make the noise. The opportunities I can get from beating Mick, as you know, he's a massive name. He can set me up for world title fights, and that's what I jumped into this sport to do. So this is my opportunity. I need to grab it with both hands and make sure I perform the way I know I can.
At 33 years old, Conlon is still dreaming of a world title that has evaded him so far.
I hate to use the word deserves, but he does deserve to have a world title around it. Deserve and boxing doesn't really fit hand in hand, but yeah, it's we're on a good path if we come through Friday. That's how big Friday is.
So it's make or break tonight as Conlon continues to plot his way to his ultimate goal. Daniel Duffy, UTV Live in Dublin.
That's all your sport for this evening. Have a great weekend.
The atmosphere is electric. John Mulholland Motors, sponsors of UTV Sport.
Well, it's time to celebrate Belfast's rich maritime history this weekend. Yes, thousands of people are expected to enjoy the sights and sounds of the city's Maritime Festival on Saturday and Sunday.
Well, Kerry Sweeney from Belfast Maritime Trust joins us live now. Oh, Kerry, you've got some friends with you there too. So what can people expect this weekend, Kerry?
Yes,
So this year we've really pushed the boat out. Maritime Festival is going to be bigger and better than ever. Already behind us you can see some of the ships are in. We've got the La Malouine is in, we've got the Grogne Whale, we have the lovely Royal Naval ship, and we've got more ships arriving this evening. And we've also been joined tonight by some of our circus acts. So we've got local and international circus acts. So Maritime Festival this year has been delivered in partnership with Belfast City Council, Maritime Belfast Trust, and we are activating and animating 10 kilometres of the city's iconic waterfront over 2 days from 11 o'clock in the morning to 6 p.m. in the evening on Saturday and Sunday. So there's something for everyone, and we're inviting everybody to come down and enjoy and join us.
So Kerry, how are you planning to celebrate Belfast's rich seafaring history?
Well, this is where the city began. I'm standing on City Quays, and this was really the beginning of Belfast. So our maritime heritage is so important to the city, and Maritime Belfast is a real opportunity to celebrate that and to share all of our stories. So we will actually have a dedicated maritime village on Hamilton Dock. We've got over 30 exhibitors coming, so we will have rope makers, we'll have boat builders, we've got Harland and Wolff coming to tell us about all the new ways in which they make ships today. And then apart from that, all across the site, again, as I say, 10 kilometres of rich maritime heritage. All of our heritage attractions are open. So Titanic Belfast is opening their Titanic staircase for free to the public, and they have the Belfast Titanic Society coming with their period costumes, so people can get dressed up and get their photo taken on the staircase. We've got St Joe's Church and
Kerry, I think we're going to have to say
number of
thank
different
you
heritage.
very much. There's so much going on. Thank you so much for joining us on UTV Live at 6 this evening. Thank you. So all looks good. Let's hope the weather stays good too.
Absolutely, looks fantastic. Let's get weather now with Aisling.
Feel good weather is set to continue throughout the day. UTV Weather, sponsored by the Grant Irona R290 heat pump.
Hello there, very good evening to everyone at home. And it started off this morning on a fine note, lots of sunshine around. There has been a bit more cloud around through the afternoon, and the one thing you'll have noticed as well is the breeze, and that breeze is going to be a key feature of the weekend weather, particularly along eastern coastal areas, and also to the lee of high ground in the north, and a fairly brisk southerly breeze, could be quite gusty. But breezy on Saturday, wet on Sunday, outbreaks of rain on the way, and in general a little showery into next week, and also a little bit cooler as well. But let's just take a look at those details as we head through tonight. Breezy out there, 1 or 2 showers around, but overall a good deal of dry weather, and by tomorrow morning temperatures only dropping back to around 12 or 13 degrees Celsius. So a mild start to Saturday morning. But Saturday is where you're likely to get just a handful of showers passing through. Nothing particularly heavy, but it is noticeably blustery, particularly along the coast where we have gale force winds here. Gusty as well, but maximum temperatures getting up to 18 degrees Celsius in the afternoon, and a little bit more in the way of sunshine around as well during the afternoon. Across the rest of Ireland then, dry for most, but to the southwest, there's the weather that's going to be with us as we head into Sunday. Some outbreaks of rain on the way. Let's just take a look at that bigger picture from Saturday into Sunday. Low pressure off the Atlantic sweeps in, eventually introducing some outbreaks of rain. So after a dry start in the east on Sunday, it is going to turn quite wet and damp.
UTV Weather, sponsored by the Grant Irona R290 heat pump.
Now, a reminder that the government will be testing its emergency alert system at the weekend. A loud siren will go off on phones on Sunday at around 3 p.m.
The Department of Justice has advised that anyone who is a victim of domestic violence and may have a secret mobile phone in the house, that you can deactivate the alert. You can find more details on our website, search UTV News. Kitty Andrews has the details.
At 3 p.m. this Sunday, a loud siren will sound from millions of mobile phones across the UK, with a message also appearing on screens. It will say, "This is a test of emergency alerts," a UK government service that will warn you if there's a life-threatening emergency nearby. You do not need to take any action. In a real emergency, follow the instructions in the alert to keep yourself and others safe. Find simple and effective advice on how to prepare for emergencies at gov.uk/prepare. The message will be received on 4G and 5G mobile phones, along with a sound like this for up to 10 seconds. It will sound even if devices are on silent. Phone users will be prompted to swipe away the message or click OK on their home screen before being able to continue using their device. Drivers are advised not to look at or touch their mobile phone until it is safe, just as when receiving any call or message. Regular testing ensures the system is working correctly and familiarises the public should an alert be needed in a genuine emergency situation. Katie Andrews, UTV Live.
Just a reminder that Pammy is here with UTV Live at 7 o'clock. Michelle will be back with your late news. That's at around 10:30.
That's right. The ITV News continues with Charlene White. From all of us in the newsroom, have a very good evening and a great weekend.
Good evening.